Welcome back to Note Lab Mode.
Glad to be back.
You know, we like to keep things interesting here,
That's right.
and today is no exception.
Nope.
But first,
Yes.
a quick word from our sponsor,
Okay.
cloudfit.ai.
Cloutfit AI.
Now, if you are in e-commerce or you're working with influencers,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to want to pay attention to this.
Definitely.
Because you know how much we all love those outfits
Oh, yeah.
that influencers are always showing off?
Definitely, yeah.
Cloudfit AI connects those looks directly to your product inventory.
Makes sense.
So their content becomes instantly shoppable.
Ah, so smart.
Talk about a game changer.
Huge for e-commerce.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
More sales, higher order value.
It's a win-win.
Who doesn't want that?
Exactly.
Check them out at clout.ai.
Cloutfit AI.
I can thank me later.
I will.
Okay, so getting into it.
Okay.
We've been digging into some research
Yeah, some pretty fascinating stuff.
about our relationship with smartphones.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's easy to get lost
Yeah.
in all the data to studies.
Totally. It can be overwhelming.
So we're going to do what we do best here.
Okay.
Distill it down into
Yeah.
those key takeaways.
The important stuff.
So you don't have to... Right.
Right.
Our mission today
Okay.
is to uncover just how much we're really using these things
Okay.
and what that means for
A
us.
big question.
The big question. So
Yeah.
first things first.
Okay.
How connected are we really?
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
The research gives us different ways of looking at it.
Right.
So globally, in 2024, internet users aged 16 to 64,
Okay.
they're projected to use their smartphones for an average of 5 hours and 1 minute each day.
Wow.
It's quite a lot.
That's a huge chunk of the day.
It is.
Yeah. Now, another study we looked at,
Okay.
they focused specifically on time spent online
Oh, okay.
via smartphone.
Okay.
And their average was a bit lower,
Interesting.
3 hours and 45 minutes.
Uh-huh.
But then you look at the U.S.,
Okay.
and it jumps up again
How high?
to 5 hours and 16 minutes every day.
It really shows you how essential
Yeah.
these devices have become in a lot of places.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just smartphones, right?
It's not, no.
I mean, we're surrounded by screens.
We really are.
There was one figure we came across
Mm-hmm.
that said globally,
Okay.
people are spending
Yeah.
an average of 6 hours and 40 minutes every day
On screens.
across all devices.
So phones, computers, TVs,
Yeah,
tablets.
yeah, it all adds
That
up.
all adds up.
Wow,
And mobile makes up a big chunk of that, as we've seen.
a significant portion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when you think about how many people have smartphones now,
Right,
it's kind of mind-blowing.
it is.
Almost 4.69 billion people worldwide.
That's a lot of people.
And that number's only going up.
Yeah, it's projected to be
Yeah.
5.83 billion by 2028.
28. And some estimates even say 7.12 billion by the end of this year,
This year.
which just shows you how important they are.
For communication,
Right. It's how we stay connected.
globally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just about owning one.
How we use them.
It's how we use them.
Right.
The research shows that for those over 16,
Okay.
more than 56% of our daily internet time
Wow.
is on mobile.
More than half.
More than half.
Yeah. Think about your own internet use.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Does that track for you?
I mean, it's probably true.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is what we're doing online.
Yeah. What's taking up all that time?
Social networking takes up a big portion,
How much?
34%.
Okay.
And then entertainment
Yeah. Makes sense.
is another 31.4%.
So a lot of it's leisure.
It's not just,
Yeah.
work or practical stuff.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And all that streaming and scrolling
Yeah.
uses a lot of data.
It does.
The average smartphone user
Mhm.
goes through 21.13 gigabytes every month,
Wow.
which is a 30% increase from last year.
We are consuming a lot of content.
We are.
Now let's look at a specific region,
Okay.
the UAE.
The UAE. Okay.
They average about 4 hours and 34 minutes a day.
Okay. So a bit lower than the U.S.?
Yeah, a little bit lower.
But still a significant amount.
Still a lot of time.
Yeah.
And internet penetration in the UAE is super high,
How high?
99%.
Wow. Almost everyone.
And they have over 20 million active mobile connections.
In a country with a relatively small population.
Yeah, so a lot of people have multiple devices,
Makes sense.
and smartphone penetration is over 90%.
Wow.
So they're spending a lot of time online,
They are.
an average of 8 hours and 11 minutes
Across all devices.
across all devices.
Yeah. Okay.
And out of that, 9.41 million people
Yeah.
are using smartphones to get online.
Okay.
And get this, mobile phones make up
Yeah.
over 75% of web traffic in the UAE.
They really rely on their phones for everything.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to remember
Yes.
that this usage isn't the same
Right.
for everyone.
Different people use them differently.
Right.
Yeah.
Age is a big factor.
Makes sense.
Gen Z,
Okay.
they're the heaviest users.
The youngest generation.
Then millennials,
Mm-hmm.
then Gen X,
Okay.
and lastly, baby boomers.
Yeah, they've had less time to adapt.
Right.
Yeah.
And ownership also varies.
How so?
Younger adults and people with more education
Okay.
tend to have higher ownership rates.
Hmm.
And in the U.S., slightly more men
Interesting.
own smartphones than women,
Okay.
and lower-income households
Hmm.
seem to rely on them more for internet access.
Yeah. I guess they might not have other options.
So it's clear that
It's complicated.
how we define
Yeah.
and measure smartphone use
Right.
really matters.
Are we looking at total screen time?
Yeah.
Or just time spent online?
Yeah. And who are we asking?
Yeah, the sample can affect the results.
And that's probably why
Yeah.
we see these variations in the averages.
Right.
But what we can take away from all this
Yeah.
is that smartphones are deeply integrated into our lives.
They are.
Especially in places like the UAE.
Definitely.
And that different generations
Yeah.
are using them in different ways.
For sure.
Okay, so we've talked about how much we use them.
Yeah.
But the real question is,
What does it do to us?
what's happening in our minds
Right, exactly.
when we're constantly connected?
Good question.
What's the impact
Yeah.
on our cognitive abilities
Mm-hmm.
and our mental health?
Right.
That's what we really need to understand.
It is.
Yeah.
And the research raises some interesting points.
Okay.
So let's start with attention span
Okay.
and what's called cognitive control.
Mm-hmm.
Some studies suggest that too much smartphone use
Mm-hmm.
can actually make it harder for us
Yeah.
to focus and control our thoughts.
Like we're being pulled in so many directions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And even just having your phone nearby
Yeah.
can be distracting.
It's true.
There was this one study
Oh.
where they had people block mobile internet access
Interesting.
and their sustained attention on tasks improved.
Wow. So just having that
Yeah.
option to go on your phone
Right.
is a distraction,
It is.
even if you don't do it.
It takes up mental space.
Wow.
And think about all those notifications we get.
Oh, yeah.
How easy it is to jump between
It's
apps.
so easy.
It fragments our focus.
Yeah, like trying to have a conversation.
Yeah.
When there's a lot of background noise.
Exactly. And there's actually a term for this.
Okay.
It's called resumption lag.
Reception lag.
It basically refers to the time and mental effort it takes to refocus after an interruption.
Okay, that makes sense.
And this is affecting young people too.
Oh, really?
Research has shown a negative correlation
Okay.
between smartphone use and attention spans
Okay.
in children and adolescents.
Interesting.
And this decline in attention
Mm-hmm.
has happened at the same time as
Yeah.
the rise of smartphones.
Wow, so it's not just a coincidence.
It's hard to say
Yeah,
for sure,
yeah.
but the timing is interesting.
It is interesting.
And some research even suggests the connection
Mhm.
between heavy social media use
Okay.
and reduced gray matter
Reduce gray matter.
in the brain,
Wow.
specifically in areas that control our attention.
That's a pretty big deal.
It is.
Okay, so moving beyond attention,
Okay.
what about our overall mental health?
Right.
A lot of people talk about feeling more anxious
Mm-hmm.
or down
Yeah.
because of their phones.
And the research supports that.
It does.
Yeah. Overuse has been linked
Okay.
to higher levels of anxiety and depression,
I mean, think about FOMO.
or the fear of missing out.
It's everywhere. You're constantly seeing
Mm.
these perfect, curated versions of people's lives.
Exactly. And it makes you feel like
Yeah.
you're not good enough. Yeah.
Like everyone's having fun. But,
Yeah, exactly. And social media is often designed
Yeah,
to encourage social comparison.
which is never good.
It's not, it can lower your self-esteem and make you more anxious.
And then there's the fact that
Yeah.
these apps are designed
Right.
to be addictive,
To keep you hooked.
to keep us on them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And studies have shown a pretty clear link
Okay.
between problematic smartphone use
Okay.
and symptoms of depression,
Mhm.
anxiety, and stress.
Wow.
And then there's the isolation aspect.
Right.
Real-world interactions get replaced by more
Mm.
superficial online engagement.
Which just makes those negative feelings worse.
It can't, yeah,
And we can't forget about sleep.
right. Sleep is so important.
If I use my phone before bed,
Yeah.
it's almost impossible to fall asleep.
You're not the only one.
Really.
Using your phone too much, especially before bed,
Yeah.
can mess with your sleep.
It's that blue light, right?
The blue light is a big part of it. It
Yeah.
suppresses melatonin,
Okay.
which is the hormone that regulates your sleep cycle.
Oh, I see.
So you end up
Yeah.
taking longer to fall asleep.
Mhm.
You get less sleep overall.
Right.
And the quality of your sleep suffers.
And it's even worse for kids, right?
Yeah. Children and teenagers,
Yeah.
they're more susceptible.
And it's not just the blue light.
It's not, no.
The stimulating content.
Yeah, like videos, games, social
Makes
media.
your brain active.
Right. It makes it hard to wind down.
And then there's that pressure
Yeah.
to be constantly connected.
Right.
which makes it hard to relax.
It does.
Yeah.
And research has linked problematic smartphone use
Okay.
or addiction to poor sleep and shorter sleep durations.
So it's all connected.
Yeah, it's a bit of a vicious cycle.
The FOMO makes us use our phones more,
Right.
which makes us anxious and depressed and messes with our sleep.
Exactly.
And the blue light just makes it worse.
It does.
Wow. It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But I think it's important to hear those personal stories.
Absolutely. It brings it to life.
Yeah, because sometimes those numbers,
Yeah.
they don't really hit home.
They don't, yeah.
Until you hear
Right.
how it's actually affecting people.
Exactly. Right.
So, for example,
Right.
we heard about this one person
Okay.
who realized
Yeah.
that they were using their phone to distract themselves so much
Okay.
that it was making them less present
Yeah.
with their kids.
That's tough.
And it was also making them feel worse.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And then there are the people in those internet and technology addicts economist groups
Yeah.
who talk about using their devices
Yeah.
for way longer than they meant to
Yeah.
and feeling anxious when they can't access them.
Like they need it.
Yeah. And having problems
Yeah.
in their relationships and their careers.
Because of their phone use.
Yeah.
That's rough.
There was one story about a child who was
Yeah.
gaming a lot on their phone,
Okay.
and it was causing
Yeah.
violent outbursts and concentration problems.
Wow.
And when they took the games away,
Yeah.
the child's behavior improved
That's significant.
dramatically.
Yeah.
And then there was this really serious case
Oh, no.
where someone's phone addiction
Yeah.
led to job loss, relationship breakdown,
Wow.
and even suicidal thoughts.
That's really scary.
It really shows you how serious this can be.
It does.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we've all been in situations where we're with people and everyone's on their phones.
More interested in their phones than the people around them.
Yeah, instead of actually talking to each other.
It's become so common.
It has.
It really affects our connections when we're more focused on our digital worlds
Yeah.
than the people right in front of us.
Like, we're all addicted
Right.
to these devices.
A lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, I know I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I can't control
Yeah.
the urge to check my phone.
That urge to constantly check.
Yeah. Even when I know
Yeah.
there's probably nothing new.
Exactly.
And it makes me feel bad.
It's like a compulsion.
It is.
And for some people, it leads to shame.
Yeah.
And a real desire to break free.
But the good news
There
is
is good news.
there is good news. There are
Okay.
things we can do
Okay.
to create a healthier relationship
I'm listening.
with our phones.
Okay, good.
So one of the most important things
Okay.
is setting boundaries,
Boundaries. Okay.
limits on our phone use.
That makes sense.
Like setting specific time limits
Okay.
for how long you use it each day,
Okay.
or creating phone-free zones,
Like where?
like during meals
Okay.
or in the bedroom.
Good idea.
And you can even have
Yeah.
scheduled no-phone hours
Oh, that's interesting.
to encourage yourself
Yeah.
to engage in other activities.
So you're forced to do something else.
Yeah, or just to interact
Yeah.
with people face-to-face.
Yeah, I like that.
And we can change our usage habits, too.
Okay.
Turning off non-essential notifications
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
can really help.
So you're not constantly tempted.
Exactly. Some people like to switch their display to grayscale.
Oh, yeah, it makes it less visually stimulating.
Yeah.
So you're less likely to get sucked in.
And even just removing those tempting apps
Yeah.
from your home screen
Out of sight, out of mind.
to make a difference.
Yeah, it creates a little friction.
Yeah, just a little bit of friction
Yeah.
to break those automatic habits.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
You can also set a longer passcode
Oh, that's smart.
to make it a little harder.
Yeah, to unlock it.
To unlock your phone,
Yeah.
use airplane mode when you don't need to be connected,
Okay.
and rearrange your home screen.
Yeah.
So only essential apps are visible.
So it's less appealing for casual use?
Exactly.
Smart.
And the funny thing is,
That.
technology can also help us
Oh, how so?
manage our technology use.
Okay.
There are tons of apps out there
Yeah.
designed to track your screen time
Okay.
and set limits.
For how long you're on your phone?
Yeah, or for specific apps.
Okay.
They can show you your usage patterns,
Interesting.
send you reminders,
Oh, wow.
and even block
To
access.
certain apps.
Yeah, when you reach your limit.
That's cool.
And there are also website blockers
Okay.
that can prevent you from going to
Yeah.
websites that, our time sucks.
It's like fighting fire with fire.
It is a little bit,
Using technology to control technology.
but it can work.
It can.
Now, if you're struggling more
Yeah.
with problematic phone use,
Okay.
there are also mindfulness and behavioral therapy techniques
That can help.
that can help
Okay.
CBT.
Cognitive behavioral therapy.
Yeah, it can help you identify
Yeah.
and modify those negative thought patterns and behaviors
Right.
that are linked to overuse.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mindfulness practices like meditation can increase your self-awareness and help reduce those impulsive urges
To check your phone.
to check your phone.
Okay.
And motivational interviewing can help you
Yeah.
explore your motivations for change
Oh, okay.
and come up with strategies for healthier habits.
So you're more likely to stick with it.
Yeah,
That's good.
but it's not just about what we do with our phones.
Right.
It's also about what we do
Yeah.
without them.
Okay.
Offline support, talking to friends, family, a therapist
Okay.
can provide emotional support and accountability.
It helps to have people to talk to.
It does.
Yeah.
Prioritizing face-to-face interactions.
Okay.
Engaging in hobbies that don't involve screens.
Yeah. Finding things you enjoy that
Yeah.
don't involve your phone.
It's about filling that time.
Yeah.
So with other things that are more fulfilling
Exactly.
and taking intentional breaks from technology.
Like a digital detox.
Yeah, a digital detox.
Okay.
It could be just a few hours
Okay.
or a whole day
Mm-hmm.
or even a weekend.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Some people even switch back
Yeah, I've heard of that.
to dumb phones.
Wow.
It's a radical
It
option,
is.
but it can be effective.
You really need a break.
If you're really struggling
Yeah.
with those temptations,
Right.
but even small changes
Yeah.
can make a big difference.
Like what?
Avoiding your phone first thing in the morning
Okay.
and before bed.
Right, to improve your sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keeping it out of the bedroom,
Okay.
putting it away during social gathering.
So you can focus on the people you're with.
Yeah, and just being more mindful
Right.
about when and why you're using it.
Makes sense.
So it's really about finding
Yeah.
the combination of strategies
That work for you.
that work for you,
Right.
becoming aware of your triggers,
Yeah.
and creating friction
Okay.
to break those mindless habits.
That's a good way to put it.
So now let's think about the future.
The future. Okay.
Technology's always changing.
It is.
So how might our relationship with these devices evolve?
That's a big question.
It is.
Yeah.
But we can expect
Yeah.
some pretty amazing advancements.
Like what?
More sophisticated AI,
Okay.
augmented and virtual reality.
Becoming more mainstream.
Yeah, potentially transforming
Yeah.
everything from entertainment to education
Wow, that's a big change.
and faster connectivity.
With 5G and eventually 6G.
Exactly.
Okay.
Improved battery technology,
Always a good thing.
maybe even foldable or flexible screens,
Oh, that would be cool.
under-display cameras,
Interesting.
advanced biometrics,
Okay.
more sustainable designs,
That's important.
and even deeper integration with our smart homes.
So they'll be even more integrated into our lives.
It seems like it.
Mhm.
And on top of all that,
Yeah.
we have wearables,
Right. Smartwatches, glasses, hearable.
which could complement
Yeah.
or even replace traditional smartphones
Interesting.
for certain functions.
Okay.
So it might be a less screen-centric
But
future,
still very connected.
but still very connected.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a growing awareness
Yeah.
about our dependence on these devices.
Especially among younger people.
Yeah, and the potential negative consequences.
Right.
So where do the experts think this is all going?
Well, there are different opinions.
Okay.
Some believe our reliance will just keep growing.
Because they're so useful and engaging,
Right.
and because more and more people are using them.
Exact.
Others think smartphones might be replaced
Okay.
by things like AR and VR glasses
Interesting.
and more advanced wearables.
Okay.
But the dependence on connected devices,
Yeah.
that's probably not going away.
We rely on them for so much.
And AI will likely
Right. AI will make them even more essential.
even more indispensable.
Yeah.
It's a tricky situation with wearables and AR, VR.
Here so.
They might be less screen-focused,
Yeah.
but they could lead to constant digital engagement.
So we're always connected.
Yeah,
That's a concern.
it's exciting,
It is.
but also a little scary.
Yeah. There are both pros and cons.
Definitely.